just because you're paralyzed doesn't mean you have to give up any of the things you love. And it's important to continue to go for those things.
All right, welcome back to the Spero Means Hope podcast, where we take storytelling to a whole new level by sharing amazing patient stories, interview experts in the community, and share resources for clinicians and students. So today we have with us Jay. Hi, Jay. How
What
are you
is it?
doing today?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. You
Awesome.
know, I've been spending a lot of time with family this last holiday season. My mom was on vacation, so I got to enjoy my time with her and and celebrate the holidays.
That's
Which is the best time of the
awesome.
year.
Yes, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you
2024, it's
too.
crazy. So, Jay, thanks for taking the time to meet with us. Can you start by telling us a little bit about yourself? Like, where are you from? What do you do for a living? What do you do for fun?
Okay, so I'm from Austin, Texas. I live kind of all over Austin. East Austin, South Austin, Northeast. Growing up, me and my mom and my siblings, we moved around a lot. I'm the youngest of five. I have two older sisters and two older brothers. So I'm the baby. So my mom, she did everything she could to take care of us. She was still a parent. Um, we had different dads. I saw my dad quite a few times a year, but it was really just my siblings and my mom growing up. So you can picture the household. We argued a lot. We fought a lot. Typical sibling things, but that I feel like that made me who I am today. The youngest. You know, you gotta fight. Because you gotta get your respect somehow. They're gonna tease you and everything, but at the end of the day, it's all love, and
Mhm.
that's what I'm a fighter. I like to call myself a fighter. Like a warrior. Um, right now, I work for Round Rock Express here in Round Rock, Texas. It's a AAA minor league baseball team for
Nice.
the Rangers who just won it all. Which was
Yes.
exciting. Um, Growing up, I never played baseball. I never really saw myself working for a baseball team. I grew up a football guy, and I just watched basketball in the playoffs. I always liked the physical aspect of sports, despite being, like the smallest of the bunch. I always played with older guys because, like I said, I had two older brothers and two older sisters. So I never really played with kids my age, which was a good thing. I have a good competitive edge, so sports are my world. Um, at Round Rock Express, I'm a greeter. So I work at the front gate. I greet to the kids, hello. Make sure they're having a good time. Have people find their seats. Where I like to eat at the stadium, which is I say we have the best food at any sports team. And I also broadcast. I get on the radio and I do score updates for MLB with Mike Caps. Shout out to Mike Caps and who lets me go on with them. So yeah, I want to broadcast, but I also like movies. I'm a big movie guy. I love talking, and me and my brother, we're starting up our own little podcast.
I love that. Yes.
Yeah,
I
it's going
love
to be
that.
sports heavy, but I want to talk about. I don't want to be one side. I want to have like meaningful conversations about starting businesses, going to school, um, people's stories. God.
Wow.
You know, I'm a believer. So
Aw. I love that so much. How did you get into broadcasting?
before my accident, I thought I was just gonna play ball, go to college, serve the community, whether that was being like an EMS, firefighter, police. I always wanted to give back. That's my big thing. watched my grandmother, she's gone now, but she didn't have much, and I always watched her make plates for the homeless. She had made barbecue. She feed her neighbors. She always gave back in, you know, any way she could. So that's kind of like who I am. I want to give back. I feel like there's a lot of life other than like, you know, there's more important than life than like just trying to live your best life, partying and stuff like that.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about your accident? Like how did it happen? Whatever you feel comfortable sharing.
Oh yeah, I'm totally comfortable. So I kind of felt like it was like predestined because I always had a fear of playing like football and becoming paralyzed. I was the offensive guy, never played defense. So my sophomore year, September 2nd, 2015, we were playing Hiker Heights, and I was on kickoff. And my job was to go down and get the tackle, and so I wanted to change the momentum of the game. And I was like, I'm gonna try to hit this person really hard. So I ended up running down the field, colliding heads with another player, and I fractured my C3, 4, and 5. Um, it was weird because before something told me, not to go on that field that play. So before the play even happened, I told a friend, I'm like, hey man, like sub in for me, like something just doesn't feel right. He goes in, coach calls the timeout because he saw that I wasn't on the field, I wasn't doing my job. I had someone else doing it because I just didn't feel right. And I went back on the field, and my biggest fear happened. You know, breaking my neck, becoming paralyzed. Backtrack 2 years before my injury, I read a book about. You probably know who he is, Eric LeGrand, the football player for Rutgers University. He was in a collegiate game. Yeah, he was in a collegiate game, and he was playing Navy, I believe. And he was on kickoff, and he went in for a tackle like I did, and wrong angle. He just went for the tackle and instantly just was paralyzed. And that's why I felt like, this was just like my fate, and I have to make good come out of this. Life's crazy, like you just listen to your gut and your gut will tell you things. It was very tough in the beginning. The first 2 years were the toughest because, all your life you were independent, and then you get this new injury and you depend on everyone. Nurses, your mom, brothers, sisters, and I just couldn't get used to it because like I was 16, like just like a kid, just starting to like figure out himself, know what I like and things like that, and do things, and starting like to really live life. And my childhood was cut short. I had to like grow up and like figure out, early, what I wanted to do. And so I thought sports broadcasting. I was like, I know I like sports, and so I figured, if I can't play sports, I can talk about them. I'm pretty good. I know enough to, talk about it and broadcast and still be around sports and outside.
What do you feel has been the biggest obstacle since the injury?
Finding new things to enjoy, like I said, I was always outside. All the activities I loved doing was, playing sports, just being outside, being out in the world. And now that I'm paralyzed, I like playing like video games too. So like, I haven't did any of those things. So I'm just trying to find new things to like, So I'm starting to read more, which is good. I think you should always keep reading. Keep your mind, keep learning. That's the biggest thing right there. Is just find entertainment that you can do independent. That's the biggest thing. It's kind of hard relating. It's hard. Like my friends, I can tell it's hard when they see me. It's hard for them to see me like this because they remember how I was before. Very outgoing, class clown, always joking. If you're around me, I had you laughing like all day, every day. because I also wanted to be a comedian. I wanted to be like Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence. You know, I like to make people
Yes,
happy. So
I love
that's
that.
trying to find independence is the biggest thing. Like I want to be able to have like my own place. Like I'm very ambitious. I want my own place, my own family. Like I still want those everyday things like before. I never gave those things up, and I feel like just because you're paralyzed doesn't mean you have to give up any of the things you love, and it's important to continue to go for those things.
I like how you said that like you're like the class clown and that you love to make people smile because I feel like just meeting you in those like 5 minutes, I feel like that comes across so clearly.
Right.
Like from like just the beginning conversation, I'm like you seem like someone that enjoy making people happy.
Right,
So
right. I don't
that's
know.
very evident.
I don't know. I think that's just one of the gifts God gave me. People usually say, like, man, like your aura is just so bright, and it's like I don't see it, but like I see it. I just try to stay humble about it.
Aw. Do you still have some of the same friends that you had in high school?
I
Like, do you
still
still have them to this day?
I do. It just like as we became adults, like you kind of like lose connection, to some of them, because it's like we're all on different paths. So, you got some that went to college, some that didn't, some people move away. I would like to see like more people from my past, but like I said earlier before, it's like I can tell when they see me. It's still very hard for them to see me like paralyzed in a wheelchair, like but they speak, I speak, we kind of catch up a little bit, but I like to hang out with more of my friends from the past.
Yeah. You know, you talked about so your biggest obstacle being like finding new things, and then like regaining independence. What would you say on the flip side is like your biggest milestone you've accomplished since like 2015?
Getting back out in the community, breaking out of that shell again, but like being Jay, like the funny guy, and not staying in the house. I was in community college for a little bit for communications. I would like to, finish, but I just need to start communication and broadcasting. I would like to have that associate's degree under my belt. So that's one of my goals right there. Another one is, do my podcast with my brother and just to have a good time, and to live life, not to be too hard on myself.
I like that. And whenever you have your podcast, you'll have to let me know because I wanna be your first listener. So I love that.
Okay, yeah, I need advice. It's like I don't even know what to talk about right now. It's just
Oh my goodness.
so me and my brother we
No,
were trying to think of topics to talk about.
I love that. It's interesting when you're talking about your friends from high school. You say when they see you now, like you can tell that they don't really know like what to say, or like what to do. You know, seeing you now, like what would you say? What is the worst thing someone can say, and then what is the best thing someone can say when people don't know what to say?
Worst thing they could say, I think the worst they can say is nothing and just like look at me and just like keep, like I don't like we don't know each other because like I have feelings, like I may not, I can act like it doesn't affect me, but like yeah, it affects me like when I see people they don't say anything or they act like they don't know me or like they see me in the corner of their eye and they like choose to like like they didn't see me because they don't want that awkward encounter with me. But I don't really blame. Some people can't take hard stuff like that. The best thing they can say is just hey, and acknowledge me like I'm a person because sometimes I do feel like I'm not a member of society anymore because of my like my paralysis. I can't do the things able people do. So like a lot of times people do overlook me, and that's just the one. That's the really thing I hate about going through what I'm going through is it's like I want to be acknowledged too. Like I'm a person at the end of the day. Don't treat me any less of a person or say anything ignorant, because I have had a lot of like people say like ignorant things, and I shrugged it off. Okay, back. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you now. Somebody had called me. I'm sorry. Yeah, just say hello, acknowledge me like I'm a person. I don't ask for much.
And you earlier you were talking about how you live in Ranrock. Do you feel like your like Ranrock community is like pretty accessible in terms of like getting around, or do you encounter a lot of like physical barriers?
The Brown community is awesome. They done a lot for me. My high school, they actually raised money for me a van where my accident happened because we had like a little Tahoe truck that my mom and brother used to have to like pick me up and put me in, and it was just so unsafe. And my friend uh, Noah and Chloe, they started, you know, collecting, doing like a fundraiser, and they did the GoFundMe. We made enough money to buy me a van, wheelers, company they bought. They
Nice.
put in for like the other half, and I had a brand new van. I was able to go back out and be a teenager again, somewhat. Movies, mall, stuff like that.
That's awesome. Like that's really
And the
cool.
Round Rock Express, they helped out so much too. With like because they got me a van too because the other one, my mom was in a car accident, and so it was total. And the Nola R Foundation came in, they got me a new one, and they offered me a job at the ballpark, which was awesome. And it was right after, it was a little bit after COVID when everybody had started going back to work. And I was just so happy, like, finally, I could get back out the house and interact with people. And the fans, they love me at the ballpark. My coworkers love me at the ballpark. And it's a family there, and I love it. Nothing but positive words for the Round Rock community. You know, and every now and then Fox kicks in. They reach out for an interview. I do the interviews, and I love it. It's a great community.
That's awesome. I love hearing how everybody came together, and for you to be able to work in the field that you're interested in is like really
Right,
interesting and
right.
really
Like
cool.
God has a plan. You just gotta trust in that
Yes.
process.
Yes, yes. I like how you mentioned God and you said at the beginning that you're a believer. Um, like what would you say like kind of like helps you like on the like hard times, like whenever you're going through like a sadder moment?
What helps me is, man, I just make sure I go to church on Sunday and hear, my pastor, Pastor Watson, which is also my principal. Hear him preach, and it gives me feel, family, you know, that helps me. But I've been reading the Bible a little bit more, so that helps too, you know.
That's awesome. Do you have any? So you're talking earlier about how you want to start like a podcast with your brother and like do more broadcasting. If you were to think about like 5 years from now, like where do you see yourself and what is your dream situation in 5 years?
I'm not sure where I want to be in 5 years. I don't want to be. I want to have like a consistent podcast with the fan base. Small, big, doesn't matter. Just someone that tunes in and just supports me and my brother. And I also want to have like a side job, like broadcasting, doing score updates, learn like how to be like a true broadcaster. That would be my dream situation.
Nice. And then, so you've mentioned your brother a good bit. You also mentioned your friends that helped you with the GoFundMe. Is there, and you also mentioned your family too, but is there anyone that you really want to give a shout out to? Like if you had to write a thank you list, whose name would be on there?
It would be too long. It's too many people. God has blessed me and put certain people in my life. whether here long term or short term. I thank them because there's a lot of people that's played a part. But I really just want to give a shout out to Mr. Watson. Hopefully you'll see this. Everyone at work, um, school teachers, um, and my siblings and my friends. Those people know who they are. I don't want to say names and then somebody, well, you forgot to say my name.
And then you forget someone.
Right. But no, I'm just thankful for everybody that's played a part, small or big.
I like that. I like how big you are on just like mentioning all those people and like saying how grateful you are for them. And I like the positivity and that you like radiate and that like positive outlook on life. If you had to like leave the listener with like a parting word of wisdom or like the biggest lesson you feel like you've learned over the past 7, 8 years, um, what would those parting words be?
It's okay to focus on yourself. Sometimes you have to be selfish because like no one's gonna like put you first. So you have to like put yourself first and look after yourself so you can succeed. And then when you do get in a good position, that's when you help people out. You know, help yourself. And a lot of times we don't know what someone's going through, so always be nice and mindful. Um, like I'll call this chapter of my life the process. The journey. It's a marathon, not a race.
I like that. The process. The
Mm-hmm.
process. So this chapter of your life would be called the process. What would the overall book be called?
Rolling with rejoice.
Oh, I like that. Rolling with rejoice.
Just
Rolling with rejoice.
trying to make other people happy, inspiring. Everything will come together in the right time.
Is there anything you wish you could like go back in time and tell your younger self?
Focus more, like be better in school. Not that I made like bad grades or anything, but like take school seriously. It's a free
Mm,
education. Don't worry about trying to impress other people. Just work harder in school and focus on your dreams and just be a hard worker. You know, it's still okay to make people laugh, but you know, you want to be the last person with the last laugh. You don't want people laughing at you. Well, yeah, it's also, how it is.
yeah. I like that. I like what the advice you gave yourself, also the advice you just like gave the listeners to just like it's okay to focus on yourself and also to like be nice because you don't know what people go through. Um, Jay, is there anything that I haven't asked you about that you want to like mention or that you want to share with the audience?
No, I think no, I feel like the conversation is good.
Love that. Thank you for taking the time to have this conversation with me and for sharing like your story, your outlook, and your pieces of wisdom. I'm very excited for your future career in like broadcasting and your podcast because I feel like with every one of your answer, from like your upbringing, like the fact that you were involved in sports to your current job, I feel like everything kind of like goes back to that theme of sports. And then
Yes,
even you studying communications, it's kind of like a constant theme in your life. So I'm excited to see where this takes you and excited to like watch you take this on, because I feel like I don't know, I can see it. Like every time you talked about it, I was like, oh, okay,
I'm trying to
this is
speak it
gonna be
into
really good.
existence. And shout out to my coaches for instilling hard work and not giving up and finishing things. So Coach A, Coach Creek, Coach Sabak, Coach Larson, everyone, all the coaches at Stony Point, I've had, they did well, with just, being good role models.
Shout out to the
Yeah,
coaches.
shout out to my coaches.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jay.
Well, I appreciate it. I hope you have a good rest of I hope you have a happy new year.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime.